Hi, it's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and today I'm going to be doing the unthinkable. I am going to be using the French method to make pavlova. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know I always use the Italian meringue method for everything. Pavlovas are a little bit different than meringues though. So with the French method, all you really need to do is you need to put your egg whites in, and then little by little you're going to add your sugar and whip to stiff peaks. Now, the reason I don't use the French method that often is because it relies on your eyes and your ability to understand meringue. So stiff peaks means that when you flip that whisk over, your peak is going to stand straight up. But be careful, because if you whip too long, then the meringue becomes dry instead of shiny. For things like Swiss meringue buttercream, your egg whites are cooked through. For the French method, you're not cooking anything, so it is a little bit less food safe. So that's why for this time, I'm using the French method because I am going to be cooking this. Notice that I am folding these ingredients in. This is so that we don't deflate the meringue, because we really want to make sure that it's pipeable. Prepare your pan with parchment paper. I am taking an edible pen and using a cake pan to draw my circle because I want to make that lovely wreath. Now I made a little bit of a mistake here because I should have drawn it on the other side so that my ends wouldn't curl up like this. That's why I'm using the magnets, but the magnets don't hold it down completely, so then you'll see me later adding a little bit of meringue underneath each corner to keep everything down. And the reason that I flipped that parchment paper over was purely for aesthetic purposes. I don't want any of that edible black ink transferring over to our pavlova. For some reason, it appears that I am using all the brands of gel food coloring that I have, Wilton, Americolor, and Chef Master, and I'm just using those to dye my meringue. Whenever you're dyeing meringue, make sure that you fold in your ingredients so that you don't deflate anything. You can pretty much choose whatever colors you would like. I think that whenever you're making this type of pavlova look, it looks really good if you stick to a color palette. To get this nest look, I am using a super light brown meringue inside of a piping bag fitted with a large grass tip. And yes, I am leaving a lot of this footage in here because how satisfying is that? So cool. You'll notice that I have my piping bag actually quite a bit higher than the pan. I'm not letting it touch, I'm kind of letting it drop down, kind of like when you're doing sugar cookies. You know what's funny is I've done so many roses on this channel, but before I started making YouTube tutorials, I actually didn't do roses that often. I did a lot more character work, which is something I haven't done that much on this channel, but I'm hoping I will get a few tutorials up there soon. I stopped my rose in the middle there because I needed a little bit more support on the bottom, so I'm adding in these rosettes. It's really easy to make rosettes. All you need to do is start from the center and then work your way counterclockwise. I always say that if you just kind of like to casually bake sometimes and do a little bit of decorating here and there, then a large star tip goes a long way. Leaves are a great option for something like this because they really help pull things together and fill in little gaps. You can use a petal tip like I am, or you can just cut your piping bag into a V shape. With meringue, because it's so light, you could even get away with doing that without a tipless piping bag. You could just do it on a regular piping bag. If you wanted to, you could even do this design just in a regular meringue and stick it on a cake. I think it would look absolutely fantastic. Once it's done baking, just leave it in the oven for an additional 30 minutes with the door closed, and make sure not to open your oven as well when you are baking it. This pavlova is smaller and will probably only feed about 2 to 3 people, and I'm making this one a little bit more glam and less rustic. Time for my favorite part of this whole thing, a whole bunch of whipping cream. So to get stabilized whipping cream, it's really easy. Just keep everything super cold. I added a very, very small amount of sugar because there's so much sugar in the meringue itself. So you're going to use this as well as the fruit to balance out that sweetness. I pretty much gift all the baking on this channel, so I'm going to show you right now how to package this up. If you're looking for some tips on how to package your pavlovas for sale, then what you could do is package this wreath separately, and then you're going to add these toppings into these little jars here. Now this jar here is from IKEA, I believe, and I'm just putting my whipped cream in there, and then I'm using this jar from the dollar store and filling it with the berries. I am well aware that this box is a little bit too big, so I would definitely go smaller so that things aren't shifting around and breaking. Now this is going to be my pavlova that I'm actually going to try very, very shortly and see how easily it peels off of the paper when it's ready. Now, if you wanted to go super fancy with this, then you could go ahead and pipe that whipped cream on as well in little rosettes or roses. But I just want this to look a little bit more relaxed. So I am just going to put that on there, and I'm going to add my fruit on as well. Oops, I was a little bit rough and it broke a little bit, but no big deal because the whipped cream is pretty much going to cover it. I bought these raspberries from a local farm and they are so delicious. Obviously, the thicker areas are going to be a lot more marshmallowy and the thinner areas are going to be a little bit more crisp. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of this sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys.